I always thought the happiest day of my life would be the day I walked down the aisle, dressed in white, ready to promise forever to the man I loved. But instead, my wedding day became the moment my entire world crumbled. Right there, minutes before the ceremony, I overheard a conversation that shattered everything I believed about my family. I froze outside the bridal suite when I heard my uncle's voice. His words cut through me like a blade. "She doesn't know he isn't really her brother, does she?" My chest tightened, my hands trembled, and the ground beneath me felt like it disappeared. My brother, the person I trusted most, my protector since childhood, wasn't my brother at all. And in that moment, standing there in my wedding dress, my heart turned from pure joy to raging betrayal. If you discovered a life-shattering secret like this on your wedding day, what would you do? Would you still walk down that aisle, or burn it all down? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Growing up, I always believed family was my foundation. My brother, Ethan Caldwell, was just 2 years older than me. He was the one who taught me how to ride a bike, who stayed up late helping me with school projects, and who threatened my high school dates if they didn't treat me right. To the world, he was the picture of the protective older brother, and to me, he was my anchor. Life felt stable, almost picture perfect. My parents, Margaret and Thomas, adored Ethan and me equally, or at least that's what I thought. My fiancé, Daniel Hayes, admired Ethan too. He once told me, "You're lucky to have a brother who looks out for you the way Ethan does." But behind the warmth of family dinners and shared childhood memories, there were cracks I never noticed. Ethan was always strangely evasive about certain topics, like why he didn't look much like my dad, or why my mom always seemed tense whenever old family stories came up. On my wedding day, I was supposed to be surrounded by nothing but joy. Instead, a secret that had been buried for decades came clawing to the surface. My uncle's whispered words confirmed what my heart didn't want to believe. Ethan wasn't my brother. He wasn't blood. And the worst part? Everyone else seemed to know but me. When I first heard the truth, my body went cold, like all the blood drained out of me at once. My knees felt weak, and I had to grip the edge of the vanity table just to keep myself upright. Ethan wasn't my brother. Those words echoed over and over, pounding against my skull like a drumbeat I couldn't silence. At first, I thought it had to be some sort of misunderstanding. Maybe my uncle was drunk. Maybe he was misremembering. But when I confronted my mother later that night, still in my gown with mascara streaked down my cheeks, her silence told me everything. Her eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. That silence cut deeper than any confession. I felt humiliated.
Betrayed.
How could the people who raised me keep something so life-changing hidden for all these years? Ethan wasn't just anyone. He was my best friend, my confidant, the person who knew all my secrets. And now, I couldn't even be sure what secrets he'd been keeping from me. I tried to confront Ethan directly, but he deflected, almost smug in his denial. "Does it really matter? I've always been your brother where it counts." His words were like gasoline on the fire already burning inside me.
Of course it mattered.
My entire identity was built on a lie, and he knew it. The days after the wedding were torturous. I smiled in photos, laughed with guests, and thanked people for their congratulations, all while inside I was crumbling. At night, I lay awake replaying every memory, every hug, every shared secret with Ethan. Each one now felt tainted. The anger grew louder than the grief. I wasn't just broken. I was furious. And slowly, that fury began to harden into something else. Something sharper. A determination. If Ethan thought he could play with my life like this, if he thought the truth could stay buried forever, he had no idea who he was dealing with. I realized something important in those sleepless nights after my wedding. Truth has a way of rotting in the dark, but when you drag it into the light, it burns. And I wanted Ethan to burn. I didn't lash out immediately. That would have been too easy, too predictable. Instead, I started asking questions, quietly, carefully. I visited relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, combed through old photo albums, and even pulled records from the county clerk's office. The pieces began to fall together. Adoption papers, hospital records, family documents. Every clue painted the same picture. Ethan wasn't my brother, and he had known all along. The more I uncovered, the more I understood that this wasn't just about a secret. This was about control. Ethan thrived on being the center of attention, the one everyone admired. And now, I had the power to strip that away. I didn't tell Daniel what I was planning, not yet. The less he knew, the better. This had to be my battle. And when the time came, Ethan wouldn't just face me. He would face the truth in front of everyone. It was 3 weeks after the wedding when I finally put my plan into motion. My parents had arranged a grand family reception, a belated celebration for relatives who couldn't attend the ceremony. The guest list was huge. Dozens of people, including extended family, close friends, and business associates, all gathered in a glittering hall. And Ethan was right in the center, laughing, shaking hands, soaking in every bit of admiration like he always did. I stood near the microphone, my heart pounding. The folder of documents in my hands felt heavier than bricks. I cleared my throat, and the room quieted. Smiling politely, I began with what everyone expected, thanking them for their love and support. But then I shifted. "Family means everything to me," I said, my voice steady. "Which is why it's important to know what family really means." I opened the folder and laid the truth bare. Ethan's adoption papers, the hospital birth records, even letters my mother had kept hidden. Gasps filled the room. People whispered, eyes darting between me and Ethan. Ethan's face went pale, his smile frozen like glass about to shatter. "This is ridiculous," he stammered, trying to wave it off. But the papers didn't lie. And neither did the silence of my parents, who sat frozen, unable to defend him. I looked directly at Ethan, my voice cutting through the tension. "You had years to tell me the truth. Instead, you let me live a lie. You're not my brother, and you never will be." The applause that followed wasn't loud, but it was enough. Ethan's reputation, carefully built over decades, cracked apart in a single evening. And for the first time, I felt like I could breathe again. After that night, I couldn't stop replaying the look on Ethan's face when the truth came out. For years, he'd carry himself with this untouchable confidence, as if nothing could ever expose him. But in that moment, stripped of his lies, he looked small. And strangely, I didn't feel the triumph I thought I would. What I felt was clarity. The betrayal had nearly destroyed me. It had shaken the very foundation of who I thought I was and who I could trust. But exposing Ethan taught me something I never would have learned otherwise. Family isn't just about blood or secrets. It's about honesty. When that honesty is stolen, it poisons everything. I realized revenge isn't always about destruction. It's about reclaiming power when someone takes it from you. Ethan wanted to control my narrative, to keep me in the dark while he played the role of the perfect brother. By exposing him, I took back my story.
It hurt, yes.
I lost the illusion of the family I thought I had. But in the process, I gained something more valuable, truth. And the truth set me free in ways I never imagined. Sometimes, justice isn't about punishing them. It's about refusing to let their lies define you. Life after exposing Ethan wasn't instantly perfect, but it was real. And that mattered more than anything. My parents struggled with the fallout, especially my mother. For weeks, she avoided phone calls and kept her blinds closed, embarrassed by the whispers spreading through the neighborhood. My father tried to smooth things over, but even he admitted that the damage was permanent. As for Ethan, he disappeared from family gatherings altogether. The once beloved son and admired older brother was now a man marked by deceit. Friends who used to praise him pulled away. Business contacts he relied on quietly distanced themselves. His carefully curated image collapsed like a house of cards in the rain. Meanwhile, I felt lighter. I no longer had to pretend, no longer had to share space with someone who had built his life on lies. Daniel stood by me through it all. His steady support kept me grounded when the emotions threatened to overwhelm me. Our marriage, born out of chaos, grew stronger because of the storm we weathered together. I began focusing on my career, my marriage, and my own future, free from the shadow Ethan cast over my life. For the first time in years, I felt like I was building something honest. And though the scars of betrayal would always remain, they no longer defined me. Ethan had lost everything that mattered to him. I, on the other hand, had found myself again. Looking back, I've learned that sometimes the hardest truths arrive when you least expect them. My wedding day should have been about love and beginnings, yet it revealed betrayal and endings. And still, I wouldn't erase what happened. Because that day forced me to confront the lies, strip them bare, and finally stand in my own truth. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting them, it's about freeing yourself. Exposing Ethan wasn't just his downfall, it was my rebirth. So tell me, if you discovered a secret like this on the most important day of your life, would you reveal it to the world or stay silent? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.